Sorry, every time I start to do a voiceover on here, my dog hears it and she thinks somebody's at my front door. So if you hear her barking or running around, she's a little nervous right now. That's what happens with corgis. So this is basically how I put together a mixed media page. I use a lot of wet wet glue, adhesive. I feel like it just kind of sticks better, but I also just use Elmer's white glue or school glue, anything that holds it down. I'm not really that worried about my books staying together for longevity or anything like that. I'm just kind of having fun and relaxing and working on my mental health and staying busy in the mornings when my whole family is trying to sleep and I am awake, generally speaking, at like 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 3 a.m. That's what you get when you work days. So here, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of audition little pieces of paper all over. Wherever I think they go, I'm just going to glue them down. And you can see I'm getting the page pretty wet. And I'm not quite sure what I did there. I think I just couldn't decide and I wound up putting it in the exact same spot. These are just a lot of little grungy papers that I had sitting literally at my workstation, which is at my dining table. I just sit here a lot during the day and create. I can see some of my plants. I kind of really want to move my plants into my art room, but I haven't quite figured out how to do it yet. Plus, where they're at right now is a little bit of a sunroom. So maybe I just need 2 whole plant rooms, or 3, or 4. Who knows? Maybe I should enclose my front porch. Then it could be a greenhouse. Maybe I should stop dreaming. I don't know. Anyway, so here's some paper. I'm trying to figure out where to put it. You know what? There was a spot where I held it up a minute ago that I really, really liked. And looking at this video, I'm thinking, why didn't I put that there? Kind of down in the center. It just seemed like it fit a lot better. I don't know if you hear that kind of dragging noise behind me. That is my daughter's dog. My daughter moved out, oh goodness, a couple weeks ago, and she left her dog behind. That is Poe. So you might hear me say something to Poe once in a while, or Mimi. Millie is my dog. But anyway, Poe has a really wonky leg. We aren't quite sure what happened, but at some point, her leg just started twisting and twisting. And she takes medicine that the vet gives her just to help with pain, essentially in the winter. Her leg bothers her a lot in the cold. And she takes a lot of joint meds. But anyway, she drags that leg around, kind of steps and drags, just doesn't put a lot of her weight on it. And she's a Corgi mix, so she's a pretty bulky dog. I don't know what she was mixed with. Our thoughts are some sort of a terrier, almost bulldogish. Anyway, those are 2 of my dogs that are running around in here, and eventually, who knows, you might even see some of the cats. We have a lot of animals. We're a super, super creative family, and we love animals, and I don't know, we just kind of do what feels right at the moment in life. That, I believe, is some paper that I think I picked it up at Hobby Lobby. It is by the Paper Studio, and those are called Country Road. I love the Country Road designs. They're kind of a very vintagey, planked, worn down look to them. I don't know if they're even still available at Hobby Lobby. Looking at this, the date on them is 2019. So it's probably an older design. Anyway, it's a really, really pretty design. So right now, I think I had just gotten up to go find like a girl or something to put on the page. And what I'm using right now is an old McCall's pattern book full of the glamour shots, the shots that are on the front of the pattern packages to show you how the outfit would look or what the design is, what sizes are available. I picked up the book on clearance at one point for like $1. So I use it a lot. I don't really know where else to get collage fodder. I don't know where. I don't get magazines. I don't get pamphlets. I don't get flyers in my house. So I'm generally speaking just looking for anything I can think of for collage. So anyway, here I am cutting the girl out, and just quick tip, move the paper, not the scissors. It will keep you from getting those kind of jaggedy edges that you get when you're cutting. So you just, move the paper, not the scissors. I'm going to kind of work around her a little bit here. And then kind of decide where I should put her. I just thought she was so sweet. One thing that bothered me about this model, not the model, the book, she was on a page that said plus size. And I am not really understanding how on earth that beautiful girl is plus size. Not, that sounded wrong, but she's not plus size. There is nothing about her that is plus size. I mean, what is she, like maybe a 12, if that, 10? I don't know. Anyway, I really hate the way that media labels things and makes people think less than what they are. But that's a whole different story for a whole different time. So I'm going to go ahead and work here a little bit more and try to put some more pages on. Try to fill out the page a little bit. I was a little lost at this point. This is some page that I had written some verses on to try to figure out how they would fit on a page. And then I just saved that, threw it in my pile. So now the sample writing is showing up here and there throughout my work too. And here I am adding some glue, closing it up. I think now I decided, wow, I really, really need some more bright colors. Now, see, I really enjoy the bright colors from the base page I had. But I felt like I needed some more brightness, which is odd for me because I'm not, generally speaking, somebody who uses a lot of brights in her art. Or I don't think I do. Maybe I do. Maybe I use a lot more than I think I do. But already on the page, I've got like a purple and a turquoise, and that gold is called King's Gold. It is my favorite color for my mixed media. I don't know why I love it so much, but I do, and I go through it like crazy. So now I'm just going to kind of be plopping some color on the page just to see where it can go and where it should go and wherever I feel like it needs to be. I'm not worried about overlaying on top of my girl. I'm not worried about covering up other colors, except maybe the gold. I really don't want the gold to be covered. So here she is, and got some blue. I'm going to put some more blue here, dip my brush in water because it was a little dry. I think actually what happened was there was a little bit of wet glue there, so it wasn't moving the way I wanted it to move. Now I'm going to dip my brush in water, and I'm going to try and drip down the page. Hopefully it will drip. It honestly, I think the glue was a little too heavy on the page still, and things weren't dripping well, but it's all good because sometimes, you know what, you got to let your art do what it's going to do, and you just kind of have to agree with it. So now see, the turquoise mixed with that pink has created kind of a weird lavender color, which actually I think is kind of pretty. It's really, I don't know if it's sitting at odds with all the other colors on the page while I dry that off. Because if you look, I have some Tim Holtz, I don't know what that is, Tim Holtz brown walnut maybe. And I've got some like sage green vintage photo, I think is the Tim Holtz color. And the green color is like marsh green, but then I've got some just other standard, I don't know what that is, spring green, and some turquoise, and some medium magenta, and of course my King's Gold. I don't know if all the colors are really sitting at odds with one another. I don't think so. I'm going to say it kind of doesn't actually matter because it's what I wanted to do at the moment, I guess. I don't know. Sounds good. Sounds like a good theory, right? So the reason I'm not cutting this is I'm trying to show it in real time. I'm trying to show you how long it actually can take or cannot take to work on a page. Right there, I'm just kind of lining out some, smudging out some like glue or some little bits of paint that are gonna raise up or are going to take too long to dry. So I'm gonna kind of push those out a little bit. And I think I got up here to grab my Posca. You know what? My big Posca has died. I'm so sad. And I went to find some and the stores were out. And I don't want to drive all the way to Tulsa. So I'm just going to have to order some from Amazon. Kind of bums me out just because I kind of like I want it now when I want stuff. But anyway, there's my small Posca and I'm just going to start making marks. One thing I do with marks is a lot of times I try to find the same color. So as you can see here, I'm making my marks in the blues, mostly in the lighter blues. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it brings a page together a little bit better. That's just something that just kind of works with me. Everybody has their own way, yet again. You know, it's whatever feels right to you. That's the great thing about mixed media. You can really do what works best for you. I'm going to turn her a little bit and put some marks here. I'm trying to not to lay my arm across the book in case there's some wetness. And also, you guys don't want to just have my arm laying on the book while you're watching this. Now, I think I'm going to outline her to kind of give her a little bit of depth. And I think I'm going to probably should go ahead and add a stencil. Now, you'll see me grab the stencil. You see me dig through, find some weird stencils. Oh, no, I'm not doing a stencil yet. I am lying. I am drying the page off because I realize it is really way too wet at this point. After I'm done drying that page off, then I'm going to find a stencil. And then you're going to see a whole cacophony of errors, as if this page wasn't already a cacophony of errors. So here we are still drying. It looks like I'm drying the actual table itself because I see stuff blowing all over the place. But I think we're good. Should be about done. I'm going to go ahead and maybe now I'm going to pick up a stencil. Maybe. There's a stencil. Frankly, I'm not really happy with that stencil on this page. It's not really what I wanted. I might have to go over it again later with a different color. That is a spring green. It's really watery. So when I picked it up, I should have dabbed it off more. Instead, it just left a big blob of green. That was my fault. I didn't go in to the stencil dry enough. But it's okay. I'm okay with it. Like I said, I might put maybe some gold triangles over it or something over to that side. Here I am trying to lift off some of the excess, being hopeful, but knowing it probably not going to actually work. But you know what? It's all fun. It's all good. And it's all learning. It's all about learning, and it's all about moving forward and accepting things, because you know what? It's just paper and it's just ink and it's just paint. And if nothing else, it was a few minutes of letting your mind kind of relax and be creative and come up with ideas of its own. And also look how dirty my hands are. Oh my gosh, I'm so dirty when I paint. I am the messiest artist, I think, that there ever had been. So I think at this point I am just about done. I'm going to call it good and have a great day.